Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. We continue our conversations with some of the new city council, I guess I should say councillor-elects, because tomorrow is the swearing-in ceremony. A reminder, you can watch it right here on Rogers TV beginning at 10:30 a.m. And I am joined by Wilson Lowe from Barrhaven East, our newest ward here in Ottawa. Welcome, Wilson. Great to have you here, and congratulations, first of all. For our viewers that aren't familiar with you, tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so my parents came to Canada in 1991, and I was born in Vancouver. So our story's a little weird. They moved back to Hong Kong and had my sister there. Usually it's the other way around, right? The older sibling is usually born there. But no, then we moved to Toronto. I grew up in Markham, north of Toronto, and then I came for school originally in 2009 to study journalism at Carleton University. After I graduated in 2013, I decided that I was going to stay because it's a nicer town. I like the pace of life here a little more.
Nice.
And it's also more affordable. And I got a job with OC Transpo. I started off as a bus operator. Did that for about 7 years. After that, I moved on to a role where I got to use my degree, and I was a customer communications officer. That was my formal title. But what I did was I helped manage, I should say, social media for the company. So I was WL on Twitter. I don't know if anyone might be familiar with that. And I also helped manage city council inquiries for OC Transpo for about 2 years. Then I ran for office.
Let's talk about that experience working with OC Transpo, because you come from a unique background. Transportation was one of the biggest priorities. From that experience, what do you think you can bring forward to help fix some of the things that have gone wrong with public transit?
Well, I have a lot of experience both on the road as well as in the bureaucracy of OC Transpo. So there's a lot of knowledge from driving the bus, from being in different parts of the city, like not just Barrhaven. My knowledge of the city, especially the transportation network overall, not just transit, but the transportation network overall is wide-ranging. I am quite familiar with a lot of the city. I think I can use a lot of that combined with what I know about the organization, combined with what I know about how we get priorities sorted, how direction kind of comes from council in some ways to help advance some of our goals, help advance some of our objectives throughout this term of council.
I get the feeling that you sort of hinted at the direction from City Council. I imagine you haven't been happy with what you've seen from City Council when it comes to the direction they've given to public transit?
I am not sure exactly if it's just City Council.
Okay.
I'm not an employee anymore, so no, I'm not sure if it's just City Council, but somewhere we have to stop this cycle of lower ridership means higher fares, means less ridership, means service cuts, which means lower ridership, right?
Right.
Somewhere I believe it is the city's responsibility to stop that cycle, and without, if we don't do anything, it will continue in free fall, and we're already seeing the effects of that eroded trust in the system. The people who kind of have the option, they are giving up on public transit, buying vehicles, right? My wife and I, as an example, we bought our car after the second derailment last year.
Really?
Yeah. So we gave up on transit then.
You've been going through an orientation period, but what's that experience been like for you so far?
It's been great. The city staff are incredibly helpful. They've kept what is otherwise objectively very dry material engaging. A lot of the stuff, like I've had a little bit of background on for my previous role, so it's for a lot of the stuff that I needed to learn. But a lot of the stuff I also didn't know. So there's a lot of extra information that kind of fits perfectly in with the information that I already have, and it's just kind of a lot of light bulbs went off over the last 2 weeks for me, and I think it's just going to get better from there in terms of my my knowledge of both the city machine as well as things that are in the bureaucracy there.
What's the relationship building been like? Are you encouraged by this new council and the relationships that are being formed?
Very much so. All 25 of us were elected on. All 25 of us kind of were elected on this kind of unifying council principle, right? Mark Sutcliffe has said that he wanted to be the mayor for all of Ottawa, that he's going to work with all of council. And one of the most prevailing opinions that I got while campaigning at the door was, we need a council that works together. We need a council that's not fractured. Like, there will be disagreements, as some of my colleagues have told you. There will be disagreements, but we can't let our personal differences get in the way. It can't become a show of personalities. Where there are disagreements, is sometimes we have to find compromises, and sometimes we just have to realize that we're from very different parts of the city. We're going to have different priorities and recognize that, but remember that we are one city at the end of the day.
I mean, I know you touched on, transportation, outside of actually public transportation. I know one of your priorities really is, road infrastructure and pathways. For people that aren't familiar with Barrhaven East, what's missing in connecting all of these together and doing it in a safe way?
So there's nothing missing, so to speak.
Okay.
Everything's been built out. My ward is unique in my area in that it is the one ward that's built out. So there's really, I think except for 2 buildings, there's really nothing new that's being put up in Barrhaven East. All the growth is happening in Ward 3, Barrhaven West, as well as Ward 22, Riverside, South Finlay Creek. So a lot of that growth, a lot of the traffic that's going to result from that growth, a lot of the demand on our services from that growth is going to flow through our ward, right? All this traffic is going to go up Greenbank, all this traffic is going to go up Prince of Wales. I know the Greenbank realignment is something that David Hill really pushed for during his campaign, I should say. And, without any action on that, all that traffic is going to flow through onto Woodruff, which runs right through my ward.
Right.
And every resident in my ward will tell you that Woodruff and Fallowfield is an intersection that's already at capacity or even beyond, and the situation on Prince of Wales is much better because what we're thinking of doesn't account for the fact that Manotick is also growing. That's kind of further south as well.
I'm just about to run out of time, but very quickly, your number one priority, first 3 or 4 months, what are you going to be concentrating on?
Start making our public transit more local friendly, as well as get the ball rolling on some of our transportation projects.
Wilson, really appreciate your time. Congratulations. I know you campaign. Your campaign was run really, really well. I mean, I followed as you know, I did all the debates and followed all the city councillors in particular on social media. So my hat's off to you. And I know you didn't do it alone. You certainly did it with a great team as well. So good luck to you. Enjoy the experience tomorrow as you get sworn in with this new city council. Thanks so much, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with another new city councilor right after this.